Hi everyone, it's Pebbles. I hope everyone is having a fabulous day. Today is a DIY. It is a DIY on these bridal hangers. They're very popular and you probably see them on Etsy and other places. And I went to go look at the price to get them and they were really expensive. So I said to myself, hey self, what do you think? Do you think that perhaps you could master doing this and save yourself some money? And well, this is what I ended up with. So if you are interested in seeing how I created these inexpensive bridal hangers for your bridal party, then please stay tuned. So to start this project, you're going to need a wooden coat hanger, and preferably the ones with the notches in the sides, so that should the girls have strapless dresses, you can just hang them from these notches, which makes it a lot easier so the dress doesn't slide off. And then I would get the one without the bar so that you can gauge where you're going to be putting your holes for the actual wire name. And then these come in a variety of colors. I've chosen the brown black color, and I got these for very inexpensive at IKEA. You can get them anywhere, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Winners, Home Sense. So they are everywhere. So you're going to need a set of wooden hangers. You're going to need 14 gauge wire. Now, just please don't make the same mistake I made. When I purchased my wire, I went and bought 14 gauge galvanized wire from Loews as well as Home Depot. And it's way too thick and very difficult to maneuver to build the names. So go and get the craft grade 14 gauge wire, and it's floral wire, and it's so much more pliable. It comes in a variety of colors. I chose the silver because that's my wedding theme, but it comes in gold, it comes in black, and other colors. So whatever your color scheme is, you should be able to find the color. You're going to need glue. Now this is E6000 and I got this at Home Depot, and basically you can get this at any, I think at a Lowe's as well. And this is a great glue, and it just helps reinforce when you drill your hole into the wood. It reinforces that the wire will stay in there without falling out. You're going to need some type of ribbon or decorative item to put at the top of your hanger. Some people put florals. I chose to do a silver ribbon, so some type of adornment for the top. You're going to need, these are, what are these? The cutters. These are cutters to cut your wire. You're going to need needle nose pliers. Now, these are really rough. They've got the rough ridges. I would suggest getting something a little bit smaller than these. These are really industrial. I would suggest getting more of a craft plier. And you're going to need a drill to drill your holes into your wire with a really small bit. My bit broke, but actually this broken bit still does the job, so I am going to keep using this for the meantime. So basically that's your tools. The other thing you might want to do is pick a font that you like on your computer and then print out the name that you need to draw out with the wire, just as a template to give you some kind of an idea of how you're going to want to space it, the size of the name, so that when you're putting it against your hanger, that it's not too big or too small. And then I highly suggest, unlike other videos that I have been watching on YouTube, I highly suggest practicing before actually making your hanger wire names. I found it extremely difficult at first, especially when I was using the heavier grade wire from Home Depot. It was so not pliable. So I suggest practicing your letters and the flow of how the letters are going to flow with one another into each other before you actually do your project, just so that your wire, when you do your name, everything is really nice and smooth, and that your wire isn't all crinkled and jagged from unraveling and redoing. Because in Canada, this was, I purchased this at Michael's, and it was expensive. For 5 feet, it was $6, and I had a 40% coupon, so that helped. But I may be in the US at Hobby Lobby or something like that, this wire is less expensive. But in Canada, I found it to be costly. I had to buy 3 of these rolls. So, it can add up depending on how many girls you have in your wedding party. And this is optional. So is the ribbon. It all depends on the design that you want. But you can put the day of the wedding on here with the Sharpie. Plus, you can put what position the person holds in the wedding. You can write it however you want, but that's how I did mine in silver, because with the silver Sharpie, because everything, like I said, my theme is silver. And then sometimes you don't even have to write this, it's just optional. And if you are more inclined to using a stencil or stickers, you can do that as well. If you don't have good penmanship, or you just want something to be a lot more uniformed and not as freehand as this is, then they do make stickers that you can actually apply onto the hanger, which are really nice. And I was actually contemplating doing that, but then I ended up just writing them myself like this. All right, so that's done. The next thing you're going to want to do is get your wire, and you want to straighten it out. So to do that, you just kind of like pull it straight and taut, and just pull it so that it's not all looped in, because you don't want it to be looped. You want it all nice and smooth, so that your letters, when you're working with the wire, it's easier to work with, and that there's no kinks in your wire. So then basically, like I said, you practice, so that you know how you want the flow of your name. And then you pretty much leave about 2 inches or an inch at the back, like at the beginning of your project, just in case some people just want it straight, like have it straight like this. I didn't. I had mine a little curved. It depended on the length of the girls' names. So basically, you're going to kink it up, and then you're going to start with your name. So I'm going to work on doing a circle, like a curly Q with my name. Let's put this up at the top here. And like I said, oh my God, it takes so much practice. I'm not even kidding, guys. Yeah. I highly suggest practicing when you're doing this, because it seriously isn't so easy like some girls make it look here on YouTube. It takes some time. Okay. So then we're going to start making the M. And like I said, this is so much more pliable, and I can do this with my fingers. When I got the stuff from Home Depot, I had to use pliers for everything, and I was getting blisters in my fingers because it was so hard to maneuver. So there's the M with the curly Q. And then you want it to go into your next letter. So What? And if you need your pliers, you can use your pliers just to bend the wire a little bit easier for you. That's what the whole pliers are for, is so that they can help you. So do not be afraid to use them if you need to use them for certain letters. Like I'm gonna do a heart at the beginning of at the top of the eye, and you're gonna need your pliers to pretty much bend your wire the way you want it to go. Just makes it a lot easier. So you can see. Okay, so there's my name, and I've got wire left over, so I can do a heart at the end if I want, but that's my name. So you always gauge as you go how the name works out. My name is pretty good. It fits nicely on here. And the R I want a little bit tighter, so I'm going to make my R tighter. And you can do these, like, you know, manipulate it as you do it. Here we go. I've done my name, and what I want to do is now I want to figure out how I'm going to put this onto my hanger. So I like to have it as close up to the top as possible. So I'm going to cut some of the excess wire with my wire clippers. Make sure you leave enough so that in case you have to. It's better to leave extra at the ends than not have enough. Okay. So, and I also like to flatten this out because you want it to sit as flat as possible. And this is a good time just to review your letters and make sure everything is smooth and that you're happy with the way everything looks. And for me, I'm good with that, the way it looks. So there you go. So now the next thing is you're gonna drill your holes. So you have to kind of gauge where you're gonna put this and then mark where you wanna put the holes. So I am going to put the first hole probably around there. Okay, I always do one hole at a time. So I've marked my hole, and now I'm gonna drill. All right, so we have the hole, and then what you do is you're gonna put the wire inside after you've decided where exactly you want to have it placed, and then you're gonna measure the second hole, and I'm gonna say that it's probably going to be around here. So I'm gonna make a dot right there, and I'm gonna drill that side. So now you have both holes done, and you're going to place your name into the hole. Now here I'm gonna have to cut it because it's too long. So let's cut that, and let's put that in there. And then make sure that everything sits flat. You're going to make sure you like the way it looks, and then you're going to add the glue to the hole. So what you're going to do now is you're going to fix anything that you don't like before you glue it in. Like if there's a letter or a shape that you made that you're not 100% happy with, you can augment that and make it look prettier. Okay, so now you're going to take the glue on each hole like that, and then another dab of glue there, And then what you do is you're going to place your wire into the holes. Make sure they stay. So this is what it looks like once you put the wire into the hanger and you've glued it in. But let it sit overnight so that the glue actually hardens, and let it sit flat so that everything will stay in place. Then your last finishing touch on this would be to tie your ribbon or put your flower or whatever embellishment you want on the top. So I've chosen to put a silver ribbon on the top of my hangers. That's the finished product, and that is how you make these wire hangers for your wedding. Very inexpensive. This is going to end up costing you per hanger. If you do it yourself, you're probably looking at about $5 to $7 depending on what you're doing with it and what kind of accessories you do to decorate it. But yeah, pretty inexpensive. These sell on eBay, or these sell on Etsy for $25 per hanger. So they're very expensive. So I thought, I'm going to try this myself. And here we go. And that's the finished product. Hope you liked it. Thanks for watching.